welcome to my channel. It's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids147, and happy 5th of December. So we are on the 5th. Let me see if I can actually get hold of this one. There we go. And let's have a look at what we've got today. So we do have a few symbols sort of joining up for this one. Quite nice to have that actually quite early on, just so that we can sort of connect the dots. So I'm going to get started. I only need a few of this one, so just going to pop a few in my little tub. But I've been thinking about what sort of things we can discuss while working on our diamond painting, and of course the chitter chatter to go along with it. And let me just find my next colour. 498. Got quite a few colours in this one. Some of them only need a few. But yeah, I thought oh, there's no editing when you're doing a whip and chat, is there? I'm not taking all the diamonds off to put them all back on again anyway. Yeah, I thought with the sort of it being the Christmas season, and you know, it can sometimes be a very stressful kind of time of the year, due to, of course, Christmas presents, gifts for everybody. You've got work dues where you may have to go out and spend more money. Basically, it can be a very expensive time of year, and you know, some people will prepare for that, prepare for the expense of Christmas, and some people don't. We used to be a mixture between the two, I'd say, is what we used to be. We used to sort of know it was coming. We were very fair with our budgets of what we would spend on the children. We were very open with them about what their budget was as well. So their Christmas list, what they wanted for Christmas, was never out of that price bracket. But it would still come to that time of year where it'd be like, okay, how are we going to get through Christmas? For those that don't know, I have 4 children. Well, my husband and I have 4 children. They are his as well. We have 4 children, and while they're all a lot older now, of course there was many times when they were younger and writing their wish lists to Santa and whatever else. So we've always been quite honest with the kids over what their budget is, so we never had any particular unreasonable requests. However, we do have 4. We have 4. One of them also has a birthday at the beginning of November, and that was my eldest, and our second eldest was born in December. So we have 2 birthdays sort of around the Christmas-ish time, at least when the money starts being spent anyway. And then we have my youngest daughter, or our youngest daughter, also has her birthday in the middle of January. So it is once the kids have gone back to school and stuff like that, so it's not right at the beginning of January, but it's definitely in that month where when you do get your pay packet, you've not had it for quite a while, and therefore there may be other things that are due. Excuse me. So, you know, we always, you know, kept it reasonable. We weren't spending hundreds or thousands on each child each time. But some years it was a bit more of a, how are we going to manage this? How are we going to do it? What do we need to jiggle? What do we need to sort out? You know, it was those sorts of conversations that went on when it came to the sort of Christmas buying stage. But we did sort of change things up for this year, and I'm happy to say this year Christmas has been paid for fully out of our bank account already, set aside, and in fact we actually have less things that we have to pay out than we ever have done before. Not in regards to, you know, Christmas presents and the budgets and things, but in regards to the bills that we pay out each month. They are a lot lower than they ever have been, and our little secret, that's not so much of a little secret, is called Barefoot. So it's the Barefoot Investor. It can work for anybody on any type of budget, which is what I think we like about it. There are many, should we say, debt management things out there in regards to how you should pay off your debts, and you know, don't buy that coffee each month and all that sort of stuff. And some of them work for many people. We found it very, very restrictive, any of those, over the years. But Barefoot we have now been doing for a year, and we have found it an absolute godsend. Barefoot Investor is a book. It is written by Scott Pape. I think it's Scott Pape. He's Australian, and that's where I found out about this Barefoot Investor. My mum and dad had started doing it in Australia, and it is fantastic. We have passed it on to a couple of people that we know in the UK just through our discussions, and as far as we're aware, the feedback we've had is that it's helped them. So if you know, money management, it's more money management than a matter of debt management. I think that's the way I'd put it. It's not just for people that have debts to pay. It's for people that basically never learn how to manage money. I think that's more what it's for. It's a very, very easy read. It is a very easy setup, and it is very easy to keep going. And we absolutely love it. We do. It is something that we spend a couple of minutes doing it each month, and everything is sorting itself out. But as I say, it can work for anybody on any budget. So either, you know, have a look on, there's quite a few videos on YouTube of people that have done the Barefoot Investor. I think you may even be able to listen to the book on YouTube, but don't hold me to that one. It is something that it is worth spending a little bit of money getting, but you know, I like the physical books. So but the basis is that you should have different pots or different buckets. So the basic idea is you've got a Mojo bucket, you have your daily expenses bucket, and then I think you have your long-term savings bucket. I think we're not quite at that stage yet, which is why I'm on a little bit of a grey area with that one. But the idea is that you should get yourself a little bit of a Mojo. So I think he talks in dollars, Australian dollars. So I think he says, is it 1,000 Australian dollars or 2,000 Australian dollars you should have in a Mojo. We transferred that anyway. We translated that to being £1,000. So £1,000 you should aim to get in a Mojo that you keep for emergencies. So that could be your car breaking down, the washing machine breaking down, things that you wouldn't necessarily you need, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to pay out for out of your normal monthly wage. The idea of your Mojo is to stop you using a credit card. That's the idea for it. And he says, you know, you build up your Mojo sort of as soon as you can, but you build it up by selling things that you no longer need, which is a way that we got most, if not all, of our Mojo, was just going through and going, right, okay, I'm going to sell these. I think we sold them on Facebook. They're those things that you've got in the cupboard that you know you don't really want or need or are using, and we got together ourselves our £1,000, and you put that aside in a completely separate bank account to completely separate company to any other bank that you have. So that's sort of the first stage, or you know, will go alongside the next step. We've since put ours into premium bonds, because we like the fact that there's the odd little chance. I think it's only a UK thing, but yeah, we like the fact that there's a chance of winning something, but we also like the fact that if you want to get the funds out of a premium bond, I think they can take up to 42 or 72 hours. So, you know, not too long. If something's desperate, you can get them, but you have to think about it. There's no spur of the moment taking the card and just spending it for the sake of it. So that's sort of the first step. Get yourself a little Mojo so that you don't panic. You don't think that you have no money. And then the next main thing is your daily spends / daily expenses. And he goes into much more depth in the book, but the idea is that you split what money comes up into percentages. Now, he gives the basic percentages, and this is what we've always used, but you may need to tweak it at the beginning for yourself depending on what your outgoings are. But the idea is that 60% of your incomings per month should be your, or will be probably, your daily expenses. So for us, that is any bills that come out. So that is the mortgage, it could be, you know, your TV subscription services, your food. So your food's one of them, any car payments, any loan payments, basically any direct debit, standing order bill, and or your food should be 60% of your wages. Now, when you first start doing this, yes, you are going to have to, you know, spend a bit of time to note down what those bills are. The first month we did it, we realised that our daily outgoings were more than 60% of what we had coming in. So for the first month that we did it, and bear in mind we did it in December's pay, I think the first month we did it was December last year. So of course it's that month that is the longest month of the year before you get paid again, because you tend to get paid early in December. So therefore when you get paid in January you've waited longer. Excuse me. Yeah, so we did this, our 60% for that month just covered the monthly bills and didn't cover food. So we of course looked into what we were paying out on, and we trimmed that down wherever we could. So come the following month, we could have food coming out of that as well. So 60% for daily living expenses really is a fair amount. And this is whatever your wage is. So this isn't specific, you know, they don't say you need to have £200 a month for this. You know, you live according to your means, and therefore you do barefoot according to your means. So 60% should be your daily expenses. If your daily expenses don't fit into 60%, have a rejig. See if you can get it to 60%. If not, you may have to jiggle your percentages, but that's, you know, your personal circumstances. The idea is then that you have 20% of your wages that is called your firefighter. So that will go to different things according to your lifestyle and your set of circumstances. But the idea is that 20% is your firefighter. So the first thing you point your fire extinguisher at is any debts. So they say, you know, if you point it at your smallest, for example, that will get rid of that monthly payment. And you find things ease up as you go along. So by paying that 20% off, by us paying that 20% off a bill in our December pay meant that come the next payday, we didn't have that monthly payment because the bill was gone. So it then freed up our daily expenses 60% to start taking on things like the shopping, you know, and it will take on things like haircuts or, you know, maybe an allowance for clothes. Things like that will then start to come out of daily expenses as we get bills paid off, so that our living expenses will cover more. So 20% is firefighter. So you first off, as I say, pay that towards bills. They then, apart from your mortgage, so bills apart from your mortgage. Then if you don't have a mortgage, I think the next, I say, you'll have to check the book to check if I've got these in the right order. You then pay or start saving towards a deposit for the house, so it'll become your deposit. If you've already got a house and a mortgage, then I think the next thing he says to point firefighter at is your mojo. So you've already got, say, your £1,000 for example in there. You would pay it up to equal 3 to 6 months of your wages. So once all your bills are paid off, you would point your firefighter at your mojo to get you 3 to 6 months wages, so that if you ever found you were out of a job due to an illness or anything, you wouldn't panic, you would have money set aside. Then you point it towards your mortgage to pay that off. And then once you've done that, you point it towards saving. Oh no, I think that there is a gap in there where you also pay up your pension. So put more into your pension and your percentage that you pay for that, and or your savings. I'm not quite sure what orders those are in. Can you tell we're not up to that part yet? But yeah, that's what your 20% goes towards. And it is amazing how much you can pay off something when you are paying 20% of your daily income, or your monthly income, sorry, to it. And then you've got the fun part, so the other 20%. So you split that into two, and sorry, I'm just finding what number I need next. You split that into two 10%. So one 10% is splurge, and they recommend that you have a bank account with a card for your daily expenses and for your splurge. So you have two separate cards. You can have them with the same bank, but you have two sort of daily accounts, and then your firefighter, I mean, we just pay that straight off a bill, but if you need to save up to pay off a bill, then have that as a savings account. So your splurge is your 10%, and that is to spend on whatever you want. So it says, if you like wine that costs £100 a bottle, then get yourself wine that costs £100 a bottle. However, when your splurge is gone, it is gone. So that does make you think what you're spending it on, but it doesn't say no to you. And I think that is one of the key things. You have 10% of your wages to fritter on whatever you want. If you want a coffee every day from the coffee shop, that's fine. But then you might not be able to get that £100 bottle of wine at the end of the week. You make the choice on what you want to spend your splurge on, but you have 10% that is for splurge. And then the other 10% is for Smile, and that goes into another savings account. And Smile is for the bigger things in life, the things that you need to save up for a little bit. So for us personally, we use Smile for holidays, we use Smile for birthdays and Christmas, and we use Smile for home improvements. So that's what we class our Smile as being for. And when I say birthdays, I'm not talking, you know, a card and a little present for somebody at work or some birthday club. That comes out of splurge for us. I'm talking the birthdays for the children mainly. So the children's birthday budget, any maybe birthday meal that we go out for, will come out of Smile. Anything for Christmas will come out of Smile, as will holiday and home improvements. And so far this year we've had an 18th birthday. We're about to have a 21st birthday, so two big birthdays for the children where they get, you know, more than they normally would. We've had a holiday to New York, we've had some mini day trips out, we've had some home improvements done, and we have paid for Christmas completely out of the bank, all through saving with Barefoot and into, say, Smile, splurge and daily expenses. So a bit of a, not a bit of a jolly happy whip and chat this time really, but I thought it's something that it is that sort of season. There will be people that will be maybe not desperate, maybe there is, but it's not, we weren't at the point where we couldn't pay our bills. We didn't have, you know, we can't pay, where's this money going to come from? Well, we had a bit of, sorry, my memory card saved. Yeah, we had a bit of the where this money's going to come from, but we also knew that we were spending more than we had to. We were meeting all of our bills, we were paying all of our bills, but it wasn't structured. I think that was the main thing. It wasn't structured, it wasn't straightforward, and Barefoot has been amazing for us. So if that's something that you're going through or the thought resonates with you, maybe you've never been good with money, then please check out The Barefoot Investor. It's called, the book. It has been in the top charts, I think, in Australia for quite a few weeks. They do have a Facebook group, and there is a lot more, there's a lot more info to it, but that was just sort of the basic from me for this whip and chat. I'll make it a bit more exciting tomorrow, I promise. But yeah, there we go. Square 5 is done, and we can start to see that this is looking like a guitar. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow when we get another square done. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.